fucking two-taking it today. Actually, me and Nick had to two-take it because the first time we forgot to put the mics on. It was on half the time. We were already chatting, and then, we just did it another time. So make sure your blue dot is on. Hard. We're banging. Are you excited to be in Missouri?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so excited you're here. As you can tell, Tilly Girl's super excited that you're fucking gnawing away on your bone. Hopefully they can't hear this right now, but it'll be like that forever.
Do you want to check?
Nah, we'll just let it rock, and hopefully it'll be the best. I mean, think about that one podcast that me and Z put out. There was one, I don't know if it was I think it was KP, that had like, the volume was like the worst, and that had the most views. So it was like highest views and highest likes. So, we'll just flow with the flow.
Flow with the flow?
Do you miss Missouri?
Isn't it go with the flow?
You missing Missouri or not?
Yeah, it's different. Change of pace. Definitely different than Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, you're a city girl now. You're a Philly girl.
Philly girl.
Tilly's been shitting in the roads. Are you going to start shitting in the roads?
I can't. No. You're a nation only.
Maybe that's a Midwest thing. I don't know, because they shit wherever. I remember.
The dogs?
No, just people.
Who do you know that poops?
I definitely was at a dealership. Super cool people. But they told me I could take a shit outside because they didn't have a bathroom inside. Yeah.
You're lying.
I'll tell you all about the dealership, but we're not on the camera, Chris. Because I like the guys, but it was mad funny. It was just, they're going to expand it. It's going to be so cool. They're just starting up. They made good money, but yeah, definitely said that to me. And that's why I was like, yeah, that's definitely Midwest. Like, actually, Tilly got it from out here, and she's bringing it back over there.
Funny girl. Yeah, no pooping in the streets of Philly.
Well, what's it going to be? This is going to be your first. When are you actually going to be there for a week, you think?
We start next Monday.
Oh, okay. And then you're going to be full-time living there Monday? Oh, cool. So you have a nice little vacation, home with the family, home with the baby boy, and then going back to the pen. Fucking stud. D1 coach out here, cuz. D1 coach out here. How's that life? It's
been good. It's been a struggle. We're a new staff, so all of us just got hired on at the end of August. We've been getting used to each other. Actually, the head coach and I went to the same university. We both graduated from Hofstra, so not at the same time. He's just a little bit older than me, but same breed, same cloth. And then we have a pitching coach, Kristina, and another assistant, Lo, who was here last year. So she's kind of helped us a little bit with the transition of getting used to the girls, how their schedules work, facilities, things like that. So she's been a good bridge for us.
That's cool. It's good to learn from someone older. What's the biggest transition you think from like being a GA to being a full-time coach, if any? I
think just the responsibility. It's also different going from two different kinds of programs. So I was at Mizzou before this, so you're in a Power 5 conference. You have a bunch of other coaches, different kinds of responsibilities, different expectations, to now going to the Ivy League where we have a little bit smaller of a staff. We have a little bit more responsibility for each of us to kind of cover and get things done on top of all the softball stuff. So it's a little bit of a transition. Also, it's just a different position, like actually in a coaching role, actually responsible for things. Have to be a real life adult.
Responsibilities.
Yeah, just responsibilities are different too.
Yeah, I bet. And you're also going from like two different places in the U.S. Like you're on Midwest, East Coast. Like, I mean, close to the city, but not in the city. Like Columbia was its own little thing. It was kind of like our hometown was, like, Hampton spread out kind of just hometown vibes, but there was 200,000 people spread over. Like, think about how big Columbia is versus like how we grew up, and it's like, dude, just packed in that little like Nottingham area. There's 100,000 people right there. It's wild. Like we're packed in there like sardines. But that's definitely gonna be a culture shock. You'll get to experience that next week, which is cool.
I mean, it's a little bit like going back to roots, though.
Yeah. I mean, you grew up there, and then you also went to school. You also went to school in the city.
Yeah.
Or just outside the city, but you were right there.
New Jersey to Missouri was more of an adjustment than going from Missouri back to Philadelphia.
Yeah, I bet. And then you got your family there.
Yeah.
So it's been cool. You went back, had a good time. So I'm glad to hear that the coach is a different transition, because I know how you like challenges in life. That's what keeps you going. That's why I like having you as a friend, because it was also like always good that we could always like we could talk about goals and just be excited for each other and share each other's wins and shit. I always thought that was good to share with each other. So just thinking like having you here and stuff, it's been really nice full circle, because like I came out here, you were my friend out here, and then Ridge gave me that like opportunity for cheap rent, and then full circle, like you're here visiting me and I got my own place, so it's kind of cool.
You got your new job too.
Yeah,
Big boy.
big boy status.
Moving up,
And a little fish in a big pond is what they say, right?
which is good. Sometimes it's better to be that than a big fish. in a
Yeah,
little
I'm
pond.
just trying to get swole now. I'm trying to be like a shark, bro. Eat all the fish around here, bro. 220, here I come. 220, here I come. Next time you're gonna see me, you call me no neck now. Wait till you see me next time. I'm gonna be like this. I'm gonna let my dad fucking no neck happen.
Your dad has a neck.
And barely, man. That boy is stocky, dog. He's built like this. He's always been like this. He had this picture. It was like probably a year or two before I was born. He's just sitting there like this. Match, stocky, built.
And that's how you want to sit too.
No, I'm gonna make him look like a little bitch. He beat me and mad it up, but I got him now. I'm about to peek out. He's watching me. He's watching me grow. He's like, yep, he's got it now. So he passed the torch. He knew that a while ago, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He still beats me here and there, but yeah, that he's not gonna catch me on that. He's losing weight. He's getting down to like 200, and I'm just going. We're gonna go. You have goals. You have goals in mind too for the year. So that's gonna be cool.
Just wrote them out
That's
the
cool.
other day. Yeah, I set it up a little bit differently. I did it month by month, and then each month, if I hit my goal, I reward myself.
I like that, and I think we talked about that the other day, but it works into like the habit loop, like the way everything works. Because at the end of the day, it's like you have a cue, you do something, and then if you reward it, you build that habit over time. So people do that with like bad things, smoking, but like you're doing it with like good things. So you're trying to do something very hard, whatever that may be, and then you're gonna reward yourself at the end of it. I told you that was a really good idea. I'm stealing it from you, but
Yeah, I just think, especially with the new year, a lot of times, not only myself, but people, they have a list of goals that they want to do, and they're like, all right, January 1st, I'm starting. And then there's 10 different things that you have on your plate, whereas like it goes out the window within the first month. So this is a way that I can keep it consistent, and I know like my months build up. So January, if I stick to my goal all January, it's going to stick in February because it's going to be part of my routine. So I think that's going to help me too, is just understanding my own load management and what I can handle and what I can do and where I want to be at the end of the year.
yeah, I also think it's a good way, like you hit it on the head, like with people and their New Year's resolutions. They say they're going to do something like the first, and then you don't actually stick to it where you already have it kind of set up. But like that's what I've been thinking about the last couple of days, because you said that to me, and then I was like, oh, let's do goals today, or we'll do goals tomorrow. Let's write them out. And I was just like, I should probably actually like think about them. Who's in a rush to do it this month? Like I have 12 months to do it. What happened? I could be 4 days behind. Who cares if it happens the first? Because most people don't listen to it when it's the first. So I actually was like sitting there and thinking about things I could do, and I was like, in my head, I was brainstorming just like seasonal wise, like. I feel like I should take things at like a 3-month window, just because, like, in 3 months I get to see you for your birthday, but within those 3 months I could be like hyper focused on Lex, and like I'm starting to figure that out, because like I'm figuring out the balance, even KC, like having friends around and stuff, but like you're showing me like when I should work, when I shouldn't work, and like just understanding that balance has been pretty good, because I really need that when I start, because I'm gonna have no help and I'm just gonna be fucking. What am I going to do? Tilly could stay in the cage all day, and that's a bad life. I'll just be out there hustling for 12 hours, and that's not a way of living for me or her. She's going to town on that bone. I hope you guys can not hear this. And if you can, fuck. Sorry. Sorry. Blame Kristin. She's the one who got her. She loves that goddamn elk bar. She does. And she's such a good dog. So, like, it's okay. She has a little mistakes, but for being I forget that she's only a 1-year-old pup still. She's so young. But yeah, back to the goals. Like I think that's a good way for people to lay it out, or try and lay it out, just a different perspective. Because like I said, I've always been like one big goal, and it's just very like you're looking in a telescope. Like it's very far away, and it's super hard to just focus on that one thing because you fall off. But the way like I heard you, even just like your weight goal, like I was just like, oh, I could do that like that, because I want to gain 20 pounds. And I could do it like 5, 5, 5, 5 instead of just trying to do 20 in the first month. So just like hearing that and hearing your idea, I'm definitely stealing that when I'm running. That's definitely one of the reasons I wanted to talk in there, because that's just like that's a gem. I think that's a really good way of going about goals, because like 75 hard, when I talk to people now, I say it's easy, and I catch myself saying that, and I don't mean to sound cocky when I say it like that, but I understand that like it really. When you had the goals and everything, it made everything else easier though. Like work was going better. Like I had a schedule, and that's what I noticed. Like working out twice a day, yeah, it's like drinking a gallon of water, that was easy. But like eating a healthy diet, yeah, that kind of sucked. But like it got me into a routine and scheduling. You know how much I hated. Like another thing you always told me about was like going to the gym in the morning. Like you would always do it before work, when you or even when you were GA. You know, you were going before school and stuff. You would go in the morning. You would just say, you know, you have so much time to do after the day. And then I finally tried it, and then I stuck to it. And I'm like, oh, I see. I have the schedule. I just think that, yeah, I don't know, like the way people line out goals, like having a different way of lining out goals to stick to them and have them there like something to look at will help people achieve whatever they want to achieve.
Yeah, I think writing it out also is the hardest part because I feel like people say they have goals and will say it, and they might. Like, I was never one to write out my goals. I used to never write them down and just be like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. And I think writing it down is actually, you know, something that'll keep you accountable and make sure you stick to them.
Yeah, it helps you visualize too.
Yeah.
Like,
Never really was a goal person, to be honest.
yeah, same. It's just, well, the thing about it, you kind of were in your own ways. Like, I'm sure when you were like not trying to play, but when you were playing softball, like you had things you wanted to do. Like you wanted to get better at yourself. And I don't know, you could speak on that, but like inadvertently you were setting up goals, just maybe trying to be the best version of Kristin. Mm-hmm. Like I don't know what you were doing, but like maybe you had goals, because it's hard to say you've never been good with goals, because like you achieved a lot. Like you don't talk about it, but like you achieved a lot. Like it's a cool resume, and just like I don't know. I think there's something toward that where like you just trying to be the best player was the goal. I don't know. Was that for you?
Yeah. I think I had ideas of where I wanted to be and where I was, and that was honestly just to keep improving my game. I think, especially in sports, people get caught up in statistics, and you know, I could have easily looked at one year. It was after my sophomore year. It was like, I don't want to make this many errors next year in the field. And that's a statistical thing, but I never thought about the number. I never remember the number. I don't even know what it was. And I was like, all right, next year that's not happening. And then the next year, you know, I was better, was defensive player of the year. Like I didn't set the goal of like, okay, I want to be defensive player of the year. Like, no, the goal was to just be better than I was this past year. So I think for me, I knew I was someone that couldn't get stuck in the weeds on the numbers, because I would have just been worse. Honestly, I needed to focus on the improving aspect of softball, and I just love to do it. So those goals, like setting goals.
Obviously, you're a coach. Right now, so you're still coaching. Obviously,
I just didn't feel like I needed to sit down and write like, oh, this year this was my goal. So I think I could have benefited from it a lot, but I think I needed somebody to help me navigate that space of like, this is how you can set up your goals, which is why it's cool being a coach now. Like, I'll be honest with anybody, like I didn't have a goal. Like we ask kids, what are your goals? What do you want out of the season? And I think a lot of the times we find that we need to help them navigate that space and be like, all right, we can look at an individual perspective, our team perspective, like what do you want out of your college experience? And we actually had to do that because we inherited these kids. They don't know us, we didn't know them, so we had to get to know them and figure out their motivations and what make them tick. And looking back as a player, I think I definitely could have benefited from someone being like, all right, you don't have to say like, I'm gonna have 50 hits this year. Like it doesn't have to be numbers based, it could be subjective.
Yeah, PRs or whatever you want, but
Yeah.
It's funny you think that way, because your nickname to me, besides K-Dads, is the GOAT. And the GOAT, Tom Brady, thinks the exact same way as you. I listened to him on a Patrick Bet-David podcast, and the way he just talks about how he was trying to achieve greatness. Like he was trying to be the best version of Tom Brady, like every day, whether it was like 2 reps he was trying to get or 15 reps, he was trying to give like his best. It was never like, I need to score 50 touchdowns. It was, hey, I had 9 touchdowns last year. Maybe I should try to get 12. Mm-hmm. I had 9 interceptions last year. Maybe I should try to throw only 5. Yeah. And, you know, the things you could minimize, and he was like, just every day just trying to chase the best version of himself, kind of did it all from, he was the GOAT.
Right.
So it's funny, full circle, that's your nickname for me. And I just put one and one together. I heard that a couple of months ago, and the way he explains how he went about it as a player. That's just cool to hear. But that leads me to like my next question, because you were touching base on it a little bit, was why coaching? Was it solely because, you know, you didn't have that person that was like, hey, let me take you under your wing? Like you had good coaches, you know, I know them and you'll touch base on them, but like what brought you into coaching?
I don't think it was necessarily that I didn't have everything I needed, because I had great coaches. They made me better players, better people. I've had 2 different coaches throughout my college career that were the exact opposite. So I think I had a good mix of experience in that aspect. I think it was more so my journey into coaching wasn't always softball. I went to school, didn't know what I wanted to do, ended up in strength and conditioning, and I love to lift, so as you know.
Yeah, beast.
In strength and conditioning, and if I was honestly on my way to become a strength and conditioning coach. Ironically, during like COVID hit, was going to take a redshirt year anyway. I had surgery, so my internship kind of got cut short, and that's where I was in this odd space of I love to coach. I know that's what I love to do, and I love the weight room. However, being stuck in the weight room or on the in my little vicinity all day didn't really appeal to me. I knew I was never going to be one for a desk job. I just don't think I can sit still for that long. So I was like, if I'm going to coach, I might as well coach softball. You know, I get so many different experiences. I get to interact with my team on a personal level. Not that strength and conditioning coaches don't, because I think that's a really important part of the weight room is knowing your teams. But I get to see them every day, whereas they get to see them 2, maybe 3 times a week. So that's kind of how I got into like the avenue of coaching. And one of my teammates worked at Mizzou, and she was like, "Hey, we need a GA." So I was like, "All right." I'm doing it. Yeah, shout out Mick. That was my avenue kind of into coaching, and got thrown into, you know, kind of starting at the bottom of the totem pole, learning my ways, asking questions, which is good. I think working your way up sometimes is the best because you get experience that you don't if you just, like I could have taken an assistant job right out of college, and that honestly didn't appeal to me. So I think my way into coaching was honestly, it's pretty unique. I think a lot of people do have similar experiences of going into being a GA, but I think starting in the weight room and getting that coaching experience first kind of helped me navigate like, all right, I know I want to coach, so let's just get out of here and go back to softball.
With that, what shaped your like leadership style then? Because like you didn't really, like you wanted to be around it, but you didn't want to be around it, then like how do I say this without sounding old?
Old?
Because on the books right now, I look like I'm 3 years older than you. Mm-hmm. So we're 2.5 years apart, and even like this is my first leadership role. I know I come to you for the most advice. Like it's you or my dad, and just hearing your perspective, it's just the wisdom, the like how like what shaped that. Like you're 25, like. Most people are 45 and don't have that, or 55 and don't have that. Like, where does that come from?
I think starting in athletics in general gives you a unique sense of leadership style to begin with. Mine has kind of changed, so if I reflect back on it now, looking from high school to college to after college, each phase was a different phase of leadership for me. High school, I would say a lot of people looked up to me as a leader, but that's just because I knew what the heck I was doing. I knew how to play softball, but I would think of myself, I wasn't necessarily vocal. Like I would let the coaches coach, and I would just show up and play, which looking back now might not have been the best. I probably could have helped a couple of my teammates. I would give them input here and there, but it wasn't my job to coach them up and make them better, in my opinion, in high school. And then I got to college. In my first 2 years, we had so many upperclassmen, 7 seniors my sophomore year, and I just didn't have to speak up. Not that I didn't have to, but it was like there were other leaders on the team that navigated where they wanted us to go, and I'm like, yeah, put my head down, work hard. And then our coach had left, and a bunch of our teammates had graduated or transferred, so I kind of got put in this unique position where it's like, all right, I know where I want this team to be. We have a new coach coming in, and I have to be the one to figure out the boundaries of where we were and where we're going to versus where he's going to come in and change things. So I think that put me in a unique situation of like, everyone on our team would look to me to be like, is this what we want to do? Not that me and him didn't get along, because we absolutely did. I love Coach Jay. But it'd be like, all right, this is what our team wants, and this is what I want out of our team. And it would be almost like a discussion. Like, all right, where's your coaching style coming from this? And like, I'll tell you where mine is. So I think that kind of gave me my first unique experience of actually leading people and leading a group of people. And after that, you get this cool experience of being upperclassmen where you have a bunch of kids that are just leaving home for the first time, and they're learning how to navigate college. So outside of softball, people come to you. Like my room, we used to tape our door, and everyone in our dorm rooms, we would tape our door so you could just push open and walk in. And I remember everyone would always just come in and out of our room. Like they would come to me for advice, come to my roommates for advice. And specifically remember this one day, there's like 8 people in our room, and I'm trying to take a shower. My bathroom door's open, and people are like, how am this, how am that? Like asking for my opinion while I'm in the shower. Like couldn't even get 5 minutes. Felt like a mom. But that's also like a unique experience there. And then heading to Mizzou, it was different because I didn't feel like I was in a position to give advice or coach. Like, I was there to learn. But Larissa gave me a platform to talk, you know, especially my second year. I was in charge of a lot more. I got to know the girls more, actually give a little bit of input, even though I'm not really supposed to, you know, just kind of being their friend. And then going to college sports and Division I coaching has been pretty cool so far. So still trying to navigate through that. But I think that's kind of where my leadership style came from, was just being put in different positions and situations without asking for it. I didn't force anything. Like, I didn't ever force myself into a leadership role. I was involved in a couple of other things outside of softball. So I was our SAC vice president, SAC president, had to speak in front of a bunch of people, got asked to speak in other places. So it was just getting comfortable being the one that people look at, or look to, I should say. That has helped. And I read a lot of books. I like to read books.
So I'm glad you touched on that, because it's not going to be only about books, but now you spoke a lot about people you learn from and friends and teammates and stuff. What about outside? Like, you know, we never get to meet our idols, and, you know, for me, it's like, it's athletes, you know. One thing that we touched on that we can commonly talk about is the zone. And I got that from, like, Jordan, from Kobe. You know, you put me on the book Relentless. Like, you know, Tim Grover is, like, a huge, like, I didn't know who he was. And, like, ever since you put me on them, I've been obsessed with Tim Grover. Like, I've always been a Kobe Bryant fan. I didn't know who his trainer was. So the fact that I found out that his trainer was Michael Jordan's trainer as well, I've been, like, hyper obsessed with that guy's mind. Like, I follow him on everything, and just hearing how, you know, he leads, and, like, two of the GOATs, like, the GOATs are 10, you know, whatever. He's coached a good amount. Who was that for you? Like, who are those people? Like, Tim Grover's one of them, you know, you put me on, but, like, was there athletes? You know, I'm a man, so I'm always looking at, like, Mike Tyson, like, crazy motherfuckers. So, like, who is it for you?
Well, speaking about that book, actually my teammate Nikki gave that to me my freshman year and said I should read it.
Shout out Nick.
Shout out Nick. And to be honest, just to attest to how my leadership journey was going, I hated it. The first time I read it, I was like, who is this guy to tell me who I am and who I'm not? So I actually hated the book. I had to read it again. I read it again my sophomore or junior year, and I was like, I get it. It makes sense now. Like, I was the bottom. Like, I was the people he was talking about. So Nikki definitely put me on. I don't think, like, growing up, I loved the Yankees. Always watched Derek Jeter. Like, he will always be my captain. Just a respectable kind of person. A lot of people would...
By the book, yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people would argue that he's, like, not as good. He's, you know, overrated, which may be true in his athletic ability. I still think he's the GOAT, but I just think as a character-wise, he's always somebody to look up to, and always somebody that I enjoyed watching. Other than that, I honestly was not obsessive over sports or didn't really have idols. Didn't really turn to anybody that was already playing, aside from, like, softball players that, you know, came before me and that kind of thing. So other than that, I didn't really have a sports idol that I follow.
Yeah, I never really asked anyone that. I guess I just, you know, Michael Jordan's here sitting there. I got every famous black person and Eminem on that list. So it's like there's cool things around here. I never really thought about who you looked at, because, you know, we share very common traits. We're very different, but very similar in a lot of ways. And one of the ways I think we're very similar is, like, the work ethic, the way we think about, like, the work. Like, we're very similar on that. So I didn't know who you were looking at like that, but I think this was a very good conversation. I appreciate you taking time out of your vacation. I want to go hang out with you.
Sure thing. This is fun.
I thank you, Kristin. You were a real friend, and I can't wait to continue to explore this life with you. Yeah, and win, dog.
Peace out.
Peace out. Bye.
Jinx.
Hopefully I press record. I did. Let's go.